All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. New York Knicks traveling to Boston to face the Celtics at 7:30 Thursday night. Over under opened up at 214 and a half. Boston getting 2.5 right now. Over unders dropped to about 214 on some books, and yeah, you can still get it at 215 on some books right now. Uh, it's still Boston plus 2.5. When you take a look at these two teams, first you got to look at the injury report. Of course, you got to understand in the standings that the Knicks are only one game back from the Cleveland Cavaliers into sliding into that third slot. All right, so they're half a game back actually. So this game's very important to them versus the Celtics. They've already clinched everything. They've done everything they can do. All right, so when you look at the injury report, it's gonna look like insanity. All right. Of course, New York Knicks, we know Julius Randle's still out. But for Boston, you got Xavier Tillman's questionable, managing right knee tendon irritation. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable, limited due to a hamstring ailment. Jaylen Brown's questionable. He's been hindered by a left hand sprain. Drew Holiday's questionable, who just got the big check, by the way, and is bothered by a left patella tendinopathy. Jason Tatum is questionable. He has right knee contusion. And Al Horford, questionable. If you haven't noticed, those are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the most important players on the Boston Celtics. There's a reason for that, man. The playoffs are about to start, and they really don't have anything to play for. Just keeping it 100. All right, so when you're looking at the last 10 times these two teams have played, straight up, Boston runs this series 6-4. Against the spread, Boston also owns this series 5-4-1, and it's gone 5 to the over, 5 to the under. In the last 4 games that these teams have played each other, Boston has won all 4. And they've covered 3 of the last 4 times. They have played 1, 2, 3, 4 times already this year. Okay, and and all 4 times Boston has won. It has gone 3 to the under, 1 to the over. And as far as when they're in Boston games in Boston, 1 over, 1 under. So really nothing there. All right, when they're in Boston playing each other head to head. When you're looking at what these teams do situationally, okay, which by the way, it probably doesn't matter, but just so you know, New York is on their 5th game in 7 nights. So that's a kind of a lot there. And Boston is on their 4th game in 6 nights. So take that how you want, but that's good information to know when you're talking about situationally looking at these two teams. Because right now, situationally against the spread, when the Knicks are away favorites, they're 11-5-1. Whereas when Boston is a home underdog, it's never even happened this season. All right, so listen to the books. The numbers trying to tell you something. And when you look over under as a away favorite, the Knicks are 7 to the over, 10 to the under, versus, like I said, they've never been a home underdog. Like Boston's never been a home underdog all season long. So pay attention to what the numbers are telling you. Pay attention to the signs. Keep your eyes open right now, because in the last three games, the Knicks are averaging 116.7 points per game and giving up 111.3 points per game, whereas Boston's scoring 105.3 points per game and giving up 103.7 points per game. So, I mean, that tells you half of what you kind of need to know right now, because when you're looking at the last 10 times or last 10 games that the Knicks have played, straight up they're 6-4, they're 7-3 against the spread, and they're 8 to the over and 2 to the under. Whereas in those last 3 games were 2 against Chicago and 1 against Milwaukee. This is the 4th game straight on the road. All right, and whereas you're looking at Boston, they're 7-3 straight up in the last 10 games. But against the spread, it's 4-5-1. All right, versus a 7-3. Pay attention to the signs. I keep saying it. And Boston's been 7 to the over, 3 to the under in the last 10 games that they played. They're on the last game. They did lose to Milwaukee, man. Like, when you're looking at these teams, the Knicks are coming off losses to the Bulls and Heat while beating the Kings and Bucks. and Bulls. Whereas the Celtics have recently beat the Kings and Trailblazers while losing to the Bucks, man. And when you're looking at the ranking of these two, offense and defense, New York Knicks is 19th ranked offense versus the number 5 defense. And then Boston's the number 2 offense versus the number 2 defense with the Knicks. So obviously everything should be pointing to Boston. But with the fact that everybody's out or everybody's questionable, you know, because we do know it's about that time, getting ready for the playoffs, all right, then we just got to understand a couple facts, all right, which is the Knicks have won 11 of their last 12 games on the first leg of a back-to-back. The Knicks have covered the spread in each of their last 5 road games against Atlantic Conference Division opponents, and 10 of the Knicks' last 10 of the Knicks' last 11 night games have gone over the total points. All right. Whereas the Celtics have won each of their last 23 home games against Eastern Conference opponents. Celtics have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 4 games against Eastern Conference opponents. And 6 of the Celtics' last 7 games against Eastern Conference opponents have gone over the total points line. So, what am I looking at tonight? It's got to be the Knicks. The Knicks money line. Knicks giving up the 2 if you still get that. Knicks giving up the 2.5 if you still get that. Yeah, it's the Knicks tonight, man. Just because of the fact of how important this game is for them. They could literally move all the way up from the 5th spot to the 3rd spot. I think that's very important to them. And they're going to be coming out to play, man. But, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think.